We are on the verge of finding out the answer to a question that has been hanging over this country for 8 years. Can anyone or anything stop Donald Trump from lying to the American public? We are learning new details about a request from special counsel Jack Smith, who is asking a D.C. federal court to restrict Trump's public comments about that case ahead of the trial, which is scheduled for March 4th of next year. Smith's team writes in this filing, since the grand jury returned an indictment in this case, the defendant has repeatedly and widely disseminated public statements attacking the citizens of the District of Columbia, the court, prosecutors, and prospective witnesses. Through his statements, the defendant threatens to undermine the integrity of these proceedings and prejudice the jury pool. Put simply, those involved in the criminal justice process who read and hear the defendant's disparaging and inflammatory messages, from court personnel to prosecutors to witnesses to potential jurors, may reasonably fear that they could be the next targets of the defendant's attacks. The special counsel then goes on to cite a laundry list of Trump's social media posts and public comments, disparaging anyone and anything related to his various indictments. The prosecution cites Trump's vague but ominous all-caps threat the day after his arraignment, warning, if you go after me, I'm coming after you. For the record, Trump's campaign claimed that that statement was about his political opponents. Okay. Prosecutors cite Trump's various attacks on Judge Tanya Chutkan herself, the person overseeing Trump's 2020 election case in federal court, who he has called a fraud dressed up as a judge, a radical Obama hack, and a biased Trump-hating judge. The prosecution cites Trump's attacks on the city of Washington, D.C., which Trump has called a filthy and crime-ridden district that is over 95% anti-Trump. And the prosecution cites Trump's repeated attacks on, well, the prosecution and the special counsel himself. Okay, so if the Judge Chutkan, chooses to grant the prosecution's motion here, it could mean that Donald J. Trump will be legally prohibited from his chosen strategy to undermine institutions and sow doubt and resentment and escape accountability. That strategy being the strategy of flooding the airwaves with false, inflammatory, and derogatory statements. Now, this unredacted motion from Jack Smith's team was released today, but it was actually filed 10 days ago. And that means that Trump and his lawyers have known all along, and especially in the last 10 days, that his public comments were going to come under scrutiny from the court. Yet, both unsurprisingly and unbelievably, Trump has continued throughout the last days, in the last 10 days, to make wild and irresponsible and possibly legally perilous public statements. This is Trump talking to conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt last week.
And you're confident on these cases? You don't think you're going to be behind a defendant table throughout the entire campaign, crippled and unable to campaign?
You know, if I am, it's going to show what a fake deal it all is. It's all fake. It's all just fake stuff.
Do you want it televised?
In order to interfere with the election. This was election interference at the highest level.
Here he was just yesterday with an interview with another conservative broadcaster, Megyn Kelly. And I will note, just for everybody listening at home, that this interview includes some very strange video edits that we are not responsible for. Take a listen.
We have a deranged guy named Jack Smith who's been overturned at the Supreme Court a number of times. You talk to me about all of the different prosecutions. These aren't prosecutions. These aren't indictments. These are Biden indictments. This is a crooked politician. And he said, indict my political opponent.
Even today, while responding on social media to this unsealed motion, Trump again referred to the special counsel as deranged. Twice. And all of this, the lies and the allegations and the threats, are presumably going to factor into the judge's decision on this. The question is, can the court actually stop Donald Trump from attacking the people who might put him in jail? Can anything? Joining me now is the Washington Post columnist Philip Bump and former federal prosecutor Joyce Vance. Philip, asking Donald Trump to not call, for example, Jack Smith deranged is like asking a very hungry toddler not to reach into the cookie jar, right? I mean, it seems impossible that this will, it's clearly not, the threat of it is not cowing him. And it seems almost antithetical to his brand as a politician at this point. Do you think, I mean, what is your expectation in terms of how this affects his campaigning?
Well, I think that fundamentally, if it could be pressed upon him that this does him harm, he may scale it back. I mean, there are ways in which he can say this. I think it's possible. We've seen him do some checking of himself in the past, not to a broad extent. But, you know, this is really...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what is the best example of that?
When he now you're putting me on the spot.
But
I have this intuitive sense that this has occurred.
I mean, there are moments where, there was the 1 week stretch where he said alleged, used the word alleged in some of his rants. But in terms of real behavioral change...
No, this is fair. Yeah, I mean, he's never been held to account, right? This is what we're really talking about. No one's really ever held him to account. And the thing that I found most striking, actually, about the filing was its recognition that he does this for political purposes. Right at the top, the line that is drawn is between his attacking the people in these cases and his inciting people before January 6th, right? They are recognizing that he is doing this because he sees the political strategy as his legal strategy. I think that's very smart and correct. And I think that's the important thing that they're trying to tamp down, is making sure that it is clear that they are also cognizant that that's what he's doing.